Hello, everyone, and welcome to our free February 2024 webinar, How to Grow Your Bookkeeping Practice This Year Through Business Advisory Services. I'm so glad that you're joining me today. And I have a guest host with me as well, Adam Lean with the CFO Project. So as you're joining me today, please let me know in the chat where you're joining me from. I always love to see where in the world are you joining from, because we have people from all over the world, and I'm always so excited to see that you're joining us, and also just the fact that that you're here and that we can share information with you. And you know that I love to share information. I love educating you, and it's an honor and a privilege. And I see that already we got tons of people joining us. So we've got Sonia from California, Melissa from Montana, Ruth from Los Angeles, Lucy from San Antonio, a fellow Texan, Charlie from Oregon, Erica in Wisconsin at 68 degrees in Wisconsin. I think that's a warm for Wisconsin. Stephanie from Washington State, Ray from California, Jackie from Edmonton, Canada, Carol from Wisconsin. Hello, Carol. Carmelina from Georgia, Laura from Pennsylvania, Carla from Victoria, British Columbia, very beautiful in Victoria, Renee from Tampa, Florida, Fritzy from Charlotte, North Carolina. We have Ibrahim from the United Kingdom. So as I said, lots of people from all over the world. Kimberly from Dallas, Texas, another fellow Texan, Tiffany from Dallas, Nancy. Hello, Nancy, the dancing accountant from Mexico. Hi, Nancy. She's my dancing buddy. Richard from California. And let's see, Martha from Austin, Texas, Gary from Oregon. So hello, everyone. So again, thank you for joining us for our free February 2024 webinar, How to Grow Your Bookkeeping Practice This Year Through Business Advisory Services. And just a quick introduction, I know that many of you may have just come across me on social media and are wondering who am I? And let me just quickly introduce myself, if I can get this to work. There it goes. So I am the founder of the 5MB Academy for Virtual Bookkeepers, where I train and educate bookkeepers to become better bookkeepers, to really be empowered to become confident professionals and business owners. I am the founder of Mavency, where we provide bookkeeping services for Shopify sellers as well as TikTok shop sellers. I'm the founder of the 5-Minute Bookkeeping YouTube channel and blog, and founder of the Facebook group 5-Minute Bookkeeping Community. I've been named a top 10 as well as a top 100 QuickBooks Pro Advisor, and I am a certified advanced in QuickBooks Pro Advisor. I live in Sugar Land, Texas, and you can follow me on Instagram and TikTok. Now I have a TikTok channel at 5-Minute Bookkeeping. So I love to dance, but no dancing videos, but tune in to see what the videos are all about. I'll quickly share some resources with you, but in the meantime, just so you guys know that we have Jill Keel with us in the background. She is my assistant, and she will be helping to answer any questions or share any links. So you will see, you will see Jill in the chat as well. And there will be a recording of our session today. So if you signed up for the webinar, there will be a recording. If you have to leave early, we'll send, and no matter what, if you stay the whole time, we will send everyone a recording. And then Adam has shared a very special handout with us, and that will be sent to you. And it's also available in the handouts. If you have any questions for me or for Adam, please put them in the Q&A tab and not in the chat. Use the chat to talk amongst yourselves. Put your questions in the Q&A, and we will answer questions at the end of the webinar. And just to share some resources with you, you can take a look at all of my videos at 5mbvideo.com. That's my YouTube channel. Check out my playlist on QuickBooks Online Cleanup and Diagnosis, as well as several other playlists that I share with you on YouTube. To learn about 5MB Academy, go to 5mbacademy.com. And to be notified about all of my latest content, webinars, courses, and sales, you have the link there, and you can scan the code as well. So without further ado, let me stop my screen sharing and let Adam share his screen. So Adam will be presenting this very valuable content to you guys, and he is with the CFO Project. And Adam, we met, I don't know, several years ago already, introduced by a mutual business colleague, and Adam and I have kept in touch and usually do this webinar about once a year. I think this is about our third webinar.
Yeah.
And we always have such good response. So go ahead, Adam, and bring us your valuable presentation. Tell us about yourself too. I'm sure that you will.
Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate it, Veronica. I'm really excited to be here. Veronica, I'm impressed you have a TikTok account, and I haven't even signed up for TikTok. That's awesome. So I'm really excited to be here today. I'm going to present the topic called How to Grow Your Bookkeeping Practices Through Advisory Services. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about us and me, and then we'll get going. So here's the agenda. I'm going to talk about how to escape what we call the accountant's trap. Then we're going to talk about what clients really want from a business advisory service. And then we're going to talk about how to determine if you're qualified to provide business advisory services. Then how to get business owners to pay top dollar for your advisory service, because that is really important. And then we're going to talk about how to get new clients to your bookkeeping and or advisory practice, and how to approach existing bookkeeping clients. We're going to talk about why clients need you and why you need them, how much you should be charging for this type of service, and then how to provide a business advisory service in the most efficient way possible. So as you can see, we have a lot to pack in this hour, so I'm really excited to get going. Just a little bit about myself and the CFO Project. Jeff and I co-founded the CFO Project. And by the way, we use the word CFO and business advisory services interchangeably. But Jeff and I are both former accountants who have built multiple businesses. Together, we built a successful outsourced CFO and business advisory firm. Now, to ensure we were efficient and profitable, we developed a complete system to ensure we were providing real results to business owners so they can have a growing and successful business. The problem is that we were growing too fast. So we created a program where we teach our complete system to independent accountants, bookkeepers, and other financial professionals so they can offer a scalable and systematic outsourced CFO business advisory service. And we call it the CFO Project. So I'm going to show you our system to provide a CFO service in just a few minutes. But first, let's talk about what we call the accountant's trap and why you should escape the accountant's trap. Now, in our experience working with hundreds of accounting and bookkeeping firm owners, we've concluded that many of them are stuck in what we call the accountant's trap. The firm owner is essentially trapped working for low fees in a commoditized industry, dealing with high demanding clients while being burnt out in compliance and transactional work. To make matters worse, these firm owners can't raise their fees because there's always another accountant or bookkeeper willing to do the work for less, not to mention all of these tech companies trying to get into our space. We'll talk about this a little bit later on, but this is a trap. Essentially, you're trading time for money. So how do you escape? Well, we propose you escape by offering advisory services. When you offer advisory services, you could do one, two, or all three things. Either you can add advisory services to your existing list of accounting or bookkeeping services. So essentially, you're taking your existing bookkeeping service and enhancing it. You're making it better. You're differentiating it between all the other accountants and bookkeepers out there. You're saying, my bookkeeping service is better because I'm not just going to record the past. I'm going to help you have a better future. That's huge. Or you can transform your practice into an advisory first practice while upselling additional services like your bookkeeping. You could say, I'm going to help you have a better business. By the way, I can also do your bookkeeping or other accounting services. Or you can say, I'm just going to become an advisor and either white label or outsource bookkeeping to other partners that you're working with, where you get a cut of that business. And then you just become a highly sought after advisor. There's no right or wrong way. Just pick which one works best for you. And this presentation will help you figure out which method feels better to you. Okay, so we'll discuss how to implement advisory services in just a few minutes. But first, I want to explain why we propose advisory services is the best way to escape the trap. And there's 6 reasons why. The first reason is that small and medium-sized business owners, which make up the majority of businesses, by the way, 99% of all businesses are considered small, they crave somebody like you, somebody that understands the numbers. They crave somebody like you in their lives that can help them have a growing and successful business. Talk about that in just a few minutes as well. Number 2, you could charge way more for advisory services than you can for bookkeeping. Number 3, your effective hourly rate is much higher because you're charging for your value, not your time. Number 4, you'll have a much bigger impact on your clients' lives because you're helping them with the one thing they really want, which is having a growing and successful business. Number 5, you won't have to be constantly looking for new clients since advisory clients have a very high retention rate. I've been doing this for a long time, almost 9 years, and I still have my very first advisory client. Number 6, you'll be able to have more of a work-life balance. You won't have to spend weeks at a time working really long hours, and you won't be at the mercy of your clients' deadlines. Okay, in the rest of this training, I'm going to show you exactly how to escape the accountant's trap by offering advisory services. First, we're going to look at why advisory services are so lucrative in the first place. Why will a business owner actually pay you for advisory services? As you'll see, once you position yourself as an advisor, the way your clients view you will change, which means they'll also pay top dollar for your service. Okay, so let's talk about that. What clients really want from a business advisory service, because if you're giving them what they want, then you'll be able to command a lot of money every month and have recurring fees just from advisory services if you're able to provide what they want. So what do they want? At the core, business owners want someone they trust to tell them what to do to have a growing and successful business. That's it. Now, as Zig Ziglar said, he said, you can have everything in life that you want if you will just help enough other people get what they want. So if you want to grow your practice, your bookkeeping or accounting practice through business advisory services, you must give your current and future clients what they want. Because if you don't do that, you won't be able to charge for it. So what do they want? What do your current and future business owner clients, clients that you haven't met yet, what do they want? They want someone that they can trust, which is you, to just tell them what to do to have a growing and successful business. So let's break that down. They want someone that they trust, because there are not that many people in the business owner's life that they can trust with helping them make strategic and financial decisions. 2 different things, strategic and financial decisions for their business. Think about this. When it comes to financial and strategic decisions, who can they turn to? Now, they can't, when it comes to financial and strategic decisions, they can't talk to their employees, their bookkeeper, their accountant, their banker, spouse, or friends. Why? Well, their employees can't fully understand nor appreciate what the owner is going through. Their bookkeeper's job, likely all of us, is to record the past. Their accountant's job, maybe some of us, is not getting paid to provide strategic advice. They're getting paid to do the taxes or to do auditing. Their banker doesn't understand business strategy. They can't bring home more baggage to their spouse and their friends. Well, they simply don't get it. Yet, these are likely the 6 people most business owners will turn to first when they need help. As their financial professional, as their bookkeeper, they already trust you. This is huge. They value your opinion. You already understand the numbers, something that's just fuzzy to them. They value your opinion because you understand the numbers, and they want your advice because you understand the numbers. They want you to tell them how to have a better business. Why? Because they want someone that they trust to just tell them what to do. Just tell me what to do. You interpret the numbers and just tell me what to do. I don't want to learn a bookkeeping. I don't want to learn accounting. I don't want to have to read a balance sheet, whatever that is. Just tell me what to do in language I can understand. Because business owners crave direction. Remember, they value your opinion and they want your advice. But let me pause here just for a moment because I don't want to gloss over this very important concept. Business owners know they need accounting and bookkeeping. It's almost like a necessary evil. Most business owners, if they could choose to have a business without having to ever do books or taxes ever again, they probably would choose that path. But they know they need accounting or bookkeeping, but they want something else from you. They want advice. But in many cases, when a client asks advice-seeking questions to their financial professional, questions like, how do I make more money? Or you say I had $100,000 in profit, so why is there only $10,000 in the bank? Or, hey, do you think I could afford to hire this person? Or should I raise my prices? If so, to what? Or, questions like that. When clients are asking these types of questions, most bookkeepers will answer those questions by providing data to their clients. Oh, okay, well, I just closed your books. Here's the P&L, here's the balance sheet. Or let's do some forecast, ratio analysis, budgeting. I have some fancy charts I hooked up to your QuickBooks. Let's look at them. The problem? Your clients don't care about as much as you think they should about that data. It's fascinating to you. It's not fascinating to most business owners. It's confusing to them. It's hard for them to know what to do just by looking at all that data. If you want to be a business advisor and be able to charge for this service, because I know a lot of bookkeepers who are giving away this service for free, to be able to charge for the service, you've got to be someone that they can trust to tell them what to do in language they understand. Non-accountants, non-bookkeepers, which, by the way, make up most business owners. You have to be able to tell them, be someone that they can trust to just tell them what to do in clear language, because your clients want to have a growing and successful business. That's it. That's their end goal. They crave strategic guidance. They may not put it in these words, but essentially they want someone who understands the entire business, not just the numbers, and can give them strategic guidance. They also crave financial guidance. They want someone who understands the numbers and can give them financial guidance. This is what a business advisor does. A business advisor understands the entire business from a strategic standpoint and a financial standpoint, and can help guide the business owner towards having a growing and successful business. Now, we know that's what business owners want. They want you to provide advice to them. But a lot of bookkeepers say, well, am I even qualified to do this? Let's talk about that. How to determine if you're qualified to provide advisory services. Well, you're qualified to provide business advisory services if you could be someone to help business owners, one, understand the entire business from a strategic and financial standpoint, and two, guide the business towards being a growing and successful business. That's it. You're qualified if you could do those two things. So to become a business advisor, to become qualified, you need three things. One, the desire to help business owners. You can't fake this. You have to really want to help business owners. You have to have the desire to help business owners. And the fact that you're on this webinar right now with Veronica probably means that you do have the desire. Two, you must have a financial background. And the fact that you are a bookkeeper, you have a financial background, you understand the numbers, you understand how to read a balance sheet and a P&L. And 3, you must have a system, a complete system being the key word, for understanding the entire business and for guiding your clients. You have to actually know how to interpret the numbers and be able to give it to the client in a way that makes sense, that will actually help them have a better business. Now, we can help you with number 3. The first 2 we can't. Stay tuned. I'm going to show you the system, the complete system for guiding your clients here in just a few minutes. Now, just to level set, there's a huge difference between being qualified to be a big business advisor and an advisor to small and medium-sized businesses. A big business advisor needs years of experience and training to be able to navigate complex business, financial, strategic situations. I mean, let's face it, that's why Coca-Cola, Microsoft have CFOs. That's their job. That's essentially a big business advisor. But we, as advisors to small and medium-sized business owners, and when I say small and medium-sized business, I mean a business doing anywhere from $500,000 to $5 million in annual revenue. That's a small and medium-sized business, which makes up 99% of all businesses. So to be an advisor to small and medium-sized businesses, we need a completely different skill set. As I mentioned earlier, business owners really want someone they can trust to guide them. So to be a successful advisor, you need to be someone that a business owner would find trustworthy. Having empathy and concern for your client goes a long way. Also, to be a successful advisor, you need to be able to clearly explain numbers in a way that makes sense to non-financial business owners. And to be a successful advisor, you need to be able to get a business owner to take action. You should have the ability to influence clients. I'm willing to bet all 3 of those things that you on this call, this webinar right now, have the ability to do. As you can see, being an advisor to small and medium-sized business owners is a much different, it requires a different skill set than being the advisor for a big business. The good news is that most accountants and bookkeepers are qualified to be an advisor to a small and medium-sized business. I mean, you have to remember that you have a lot of knowledge, especially financial knowledge, that most people just don't have. You're able to speak the language of business, which is accounting. Most people don't have that. We discount a lot of times the knowledge we have, and we overestimate the knowledge that a lot of business owners have. Now, all you need now to provide an advisory service is a framework for providing this service in a way that's scalable. It gets results. We'll get to that shortly. But first, let's take a look at why a business owner would hire you in the first place to perform advisory services. Now, to make money in this profession and to escape the accountant's trap, you need to be able to command anywhere between $1,500 and $5,000 per month for your advisory service. That may sound like a lot of money. We just did a poll about a month ago to our members. We have about 380 members in our program in the CFO Project. We just did a poll. The average member is charging $2,000 a month just for advisory services. And a lot of them are also upselling their clients to bookkeeping or tax or any other services as well. That doesn't include those other services. Just advisory services, $2,000 a month. So how do you get a business owner to pay $2,000 a month? $24,000 a year for an advisory service. Well, let's take a look at why they'll pay you handsomely for this service. So how do we get business owners to pay top dollar for your advisory services? Well, as I mentioned a couple of times, most businesses are small. In fact, 99%, according to the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, 99% of businesses are doing less than a $5 million in annual revenue. They don't have someone in their lives that can help them understand the entire business from both a strategic and financial standpoint. They just don't. They don't have someone that can guide them towards having a growing and successful business. They crave someone that they trust, which is you, to tell them what to do so they'll have a good, growing, and successful business. Now, keep in mind, and I'll talk about this shortly, most businesses fail. And they all had bookkeepers. They all had accountants. It doesn't matter that you could perform the best bookkeeping service on the planet. If your client still goes out of business, then let's face it, we failed at our job. Your client would rather you, in addition to having good books, they'd rather you help them stay in business and make money. They'll pay you for that. So they crave someone they trust to just tell them what to do so they can have a growing and successful business. In short, business owners are stuck. They're overwhelmed, they're isolated, they're stressed and confused. And if you want to sell a business advisory service, you must be able to understand the challenges business owners are facing. And they're facing a lot of challenges. Here's 5 big challenges. Now remember, if you want to sell an advisory service, you've got to put yourself in your client or prospect's shoes and understand these challenges. We have to take off our bookkeeping glasses and look at the glasses through your client's lenses. Because if you do that, you'll see that they are looking at their business and their life in a very different light. So if you could understand their challenges and then be able to empathize with your clients, more likely than not, they'll sign up for your advisory service. So here's the challenges that most businesses are facing. If you can help them overcome these 5 challenges, you'll be able to command lucrative fees for your advisory service. Okay, first challenge. The business relies on the owner or it all falls apart. Now, think about this. Most business owners are the chief everything. They're the chief salesperson, chief technician, chief employee supervisor, chief customer service person, chief, you fill in the blank. If they take 2 weeks off, a week off, or even a day off, their business doesn't run as smoothly. And let's face it, how many of our businesses are like this as well? The owner feels like they're on this hamster wheel going 90 miles an hour. They're tired and they're overworked. But here's the key. They're afraid to get off that wheel for fear of their business falling apart. So they don't get off that wheel and their business continues to rely on them because they need the income coming in. They're afraid. So this is a recipe for burnout and low profitability for the owner because essentially they created a job for themselves. Challenge number 2, the business owner is facing a catch-22. Here's the catch-22. They want to grow their business. But to grow, we all know this, you need cash to grow. But they can't get more cash without growing their business. It creates a catch-22 situation. They don't know how to get more cash, though, because they're not financially or strategically savvy. Think about it. Most business owners started their business for one of 3 reasons, usually all 3. 1, they're an expert at their craft. Think of the dentist, your dentist who owns a dental practice. They got into business because they are a dentist. They're trained in dentistry. I talked to a dentist. He said in college, not one single day of business school, of business training. Not one. I mean, a heating and air person starts a heating and air business because they know heating and air. A chef starts a restaurant because they know cooking. A hairstylist starts a hair salon because they're an expert in hair. I mean, the list goes on and on. Because they're an expert, they start a business around their craft. 2, most business owners started a business because they want control of their time. I used to be an accountant and I started my own business because I wanted to be in control of my time, not my boss. 3, most business owners started their business because they want the ability to make a lot of money. I mean, most business owners started their business for 1, 2, or 3 reasons. Probably why you started your business. But without cash, they end up doing more in the business, things where they're not the expert and that they don't enjoy doing, which means they don't have the control of their time. And they're not able to do the thing they're good at in the first place, the reason why they started a business in the first place. Without cash, they lose control of their time. And without cash, of course, they lose their ability to make a lot of money. Number 3, the business owner doesn't have a simple way to understand what's working and what's not in their business. Simple is key. Now, the typical financials, we all know, the P&L, the balance sheet, statement of cash flows, they're made for us, not business owners. This is a big misnomer in the accounting industry. Financial reports are made for accountants to interpret. and guide the leadership team of a business. They're not made for the business owner to interpret and know what to do. They're financial reports. They are confusing and they don't tell the whole story. For example, we all know P&L, the income statement, it starts with revenue. What drives revenue though? Where are things that drive revenue and profit, like leads, sales conversion rate, customer retention rate, purchase frequency rate, average transaction value. They're not on those reports because they're not business managerial reports. They are accounting reports. So to business owners, they're confusing. It's hard for a business owner to know what's working and what's not simply by looking at these reports. I mean, how many times have you given your client the P&L and balance sheet after you close the books and they just looked at you like you've just given them, an entire document written in Greek? Or a client will look at you and just nod their head and say, okay, thanks, and then put those two reports in their desk drawer, never to be seen again, because they don't want to admit that they don't understand them. To make matters worse, the numbers people in their lives, like their accountant and bookkeeper, seem to always be speaking a foreign language. I mean, accounting is a language. It is. And that language is foreign to most people. How can business owners make decisions when they don't understand what's going on in their business? They just can't. Challenge number 4, they're afraid, which translates into stress. Many business owners are overwhelmed and worried. They're worried that they're not able to provide a basic income to their family. Starting a business, we all know, is hard. It's much harder than just having a job where you get a steady paycheck. But a lot of people start a business. Therefore, when they become worried, most people become stressed. And when they're stressed, relationships with their spouse, their family, and friends begin to suffer. They lose self-respect for themselves. They're worried that if they have to suffer a business failure, they will look like a failure to the family and friends. And I mean, most people who start a business don't love the idea of failing and then having to go back and get a job. Challenge number 5, they want to be successful. They just don't know how. Despite the plethora of business books, business courses, business podcasts, business gurus out there, business coaches, most businesses fail. Most business owners are insecure in their understanding of financial and strategic concepts. Things like, what do I need to do to increase revenue? What do I need to do to increase profit? What do I need to do to have more cash in the bank? What do I need to do to grow? What do I need to do to fill in the blank? They're asking these questions internally. They may not be asking other people, but inside they would love to know the answers to these questions. And then because they don't know, they become insecure. Like, am I really cut out for business ownership? What they really want is someone that they trust, which we've established, the numbers person in their life, you, to tell them what to do to have a growing and successful business. So if you could help small and medium-sized business owners overcome these challenges, they will pay you top dollar. This is how our members are commanding $2,000 a month just from advisory services. And then you can upsell them to your bookkeeping services on top of that. Why? Because their business is not a hobby for them. Their business is their livelihood. Literally, it must work. It's the thing that puts food on their family's table. It must work. And if someone like you comes along, someone that can not only help them overcome their challenges, but can also help them have a growing, successful business, they will pay attention to what you have to say. Their view of you will shift from being just a recorder of the past to being someone that can help them have a better business. And business owners will pay top dollar for this. In our program, we have a wins board where members post wins. Just this morning, a person who has a bookkeeping business just said that she just got she's a recent member, just joined recently. She says, I got my very first client, advisory client, from a bookkeeping client. She says, when I pitched them, because they already know me, when I pitched them my service, the way we teach them how to pitch their advisory service, the client said, this is obviously a no-brainer. Yes. And now she has a brand new advisory client who she's charging advisory fees for on top of the bookkeeping fees. It's a no-brainer. So let's talk about that. how do we get new clients to our practice, and how do we approach existing bookkeeping clients? Now, there's one rule of thumb to selling an advisory service. And the rule of thumb was coined by a Harvard marketing professor. He said this: people don't want to buy a 1/4-inch drill. They want a 1/4-inch hole. Think about that. People just want the end result, the hole. They don't really care how it gets there. I mean, when somebody goes to the home improvement store and buys a drill, they're not buying it just to have another tool in their garage. They're buying it because they want what the drill provides, which is a hole in a wall or a cabinet or countertop. That's what they want, the end result. So if you want to sell a business advisory service to small to medium-sized business owners, you must sell the end result. You must speak to the end result. And what is the end result? Now, we'll talk about the end result in just a second, but just want to mention that most of your competitors, other bookkeepers, are selling the drill, namely bookkeeping, tax, or accounting services. They're saying essentially, I could do bookkeeping better, faster, cheaper than the next person. Although this is important, although we all know bookkeeping is important, it's not what your clients and future clients really care about. They don't wake up in the middle of the night thinking, oh man, I wish I had better books. They're waking up in the middle of the night thinking, can I meet payroll next Friday? Business owners know they need tax and bookkeeping services. They don't necessarily want them. But if you could provide something they want, advice on having a better business, you'll be able to sell them all of your services, including bookkeeping. Now, again, what do business owners really want? The end result that they're craving. Overcoming those 5 challenges I talked about. They want to have a business that doesn't rely on them. They want to have plenty of cash so they can grow their business and take some out for themselves, which is a novel concept because most business owners aren't doing that. 3, understanding clear language, the financial health of their business. Most business owners I've met actually do want to understand what's going on in the business. They just don't want to have to be an accountant to do that. They do want to understand the financial health of their business in clear language. They want to not be stressed, afraid, or overwhelmed. And they want to know what to do to have a growing and successful business. That's what they want. So if you could sell those things, you'll be able to sell them all of your services and command a top dollar for your service. Now, I just want to clarify. I keep using the word successful. It's sort of a generic term, right? We know that business owners want someone they trust to tell them what to do to have a growing, successful business. But what does successful mean? And what does it mean to us financial people? Well, a successful business is one that could do just one thing well. If you're looking for the magic bullet that defines a successful business, here it is. A business that can generate consistent cash flow. A business that can generate positive cash flow on a consistent or regular basis. We all know that cash flow is the amount of cash the business generates that the owner can do what they want with. That's cash flow, this positive cash flow that the business has created that is left over after all the bills have been paid. This leftover cash is what the owner can use to do what they want with. They could pay themselves more with it. They could reinvest it back in their business. They can pay down debt with it. The point is, a healthy business, and certainly one that is successful, is one that can generate positive cash flow on a consistent basis, year after year after year after year. And by the way, I know I shouldn't have to say this to anybody that's a bookkeeper or accountant, but just to clarify, profit is not cash flow. An unprofitable business can stay in business for years, but a business that lacks cash won't last a day. Now, this cash flow that I'm talking about allows a business owner to stay in business because they can use that cash for whatever they want. They can use that money to buy more supplies, to hire more people, to expand operations, take out money for personal use, to pay off debt. The list goes on and on and on. So our job as business advisors is to help our clients generate consistent cash flow so that they'll not only stay in business, but be able to use that cash to have a better business. Think about it. Every business in the history of time would have survived if it was able to generate consistent cash flow. Your clients want a successful business and they want you to show them how to get there. And if you could speak to current and future clients about overcoming those 5 challenges and having a successful business, which we know is defined as generating consistent positive cash flow, instead of what your competitors do, where they essentially say, I could do compliance or transactional work better, faster, cheaper, which doesn't really resonate with most business owners. You have no problem having growing a highly successful and profitable business advisory practice. By the way, I see several questions come in that are on the chat and the Q&A. Please keep posting there. We'll definitely have time to talk about them after this is over. Fantastic questions have been coming in the chat. Now, let's talk about why clients need you and why you need them, because it's a give and take situation. I've mentioned earlier that most businesses fail. Did you know that half they fail by their 5th birthday? Half of all businesses fail by their 5th birthday. 1 out of every 2 businesses that start today won't be here in 5 years. 8 out of 10 will be wiped out by their 10th birthday. It's terrible. Now, we know why they failed. It's because they failed to generate consistent positive cash flow. But why is that? Why did they fail to generate consistent positive cash flow? Well, because cash flow is a financial concept. We know that. And financial concepts are foreign to most business owners. We also know that. Most business owners are just not financial people. Most business owners are skilled at their craft. I mentioned earlier, somebody like a dentist starts a dentistry practice because they're trained in dentistry. So people that are entrepreneurial and skilled at a craft will start a business around that craft, which means that most business owners are not skilled at financial concepts, namely how to generate positive cash flow on a consistent basis. So they need someone in their life that is skilled at those things. In fact, most business owners are begging for someone to be in their life that is, because most business owners are overwhelmed and insecure themselves and afraid. We just talked about that earlier. Yet they are in business. They started their business in the first place because they love the idea of having freedom of money, being able to make as much as they want, not being capped by an employer, and freedom of time, being able to work when and where they want. They started a business because they love the freedom of money and time that a business promises. If you, as a business advisor, could come along and help them to not only not fail, but have a financially successful business, imagine the impact you'll have on their lives. Hey, they're going to hire you to be their advisor, but imagine the impact you have on their lives. Imagine the impact you'll have on their employees' lives because their employees will keep a job. Imagine how much more freedom of time and money you could give your clients. And imagine the ripple effect this will have in your community. All because you're able to help businesses generate consistent, positive cash flow on a consistent basis. Now, we just talked about what it's in it for them, your current and future clients. Let's talk about what it's in it for you. In our experience, the average business advisory client is worth about $2,000 a month. The minimum we recommend you charge is $1,500, but on average, $2,000 a month. Now, we recommend, and this is just for advisory services, not including your bookkeeping. We recommend you charge your clients a flat monthly fee because you want to charge for your value, not your time. Regardless of how much time it takes you to perform an advisory service, the only thing that matters is what the value is to the client. Now, using our system, which I'll show you in just a minute, we're able to service one client in 4 hours per month. So if you do the math, that means our effective hourly rate is $500. The average bookkeeper's effective hourly rate is anywhere between $20 and $40 an hour. So if you have 10 business advisory clients a month, just 10, you'll be earning approximately $20,000 a month. This doesn't even include any amount that you're earning for bookkeeping or other accounting services you offer. This means you're making $240,000 a year. Even if I'm half wrong, it's still double what most bookkeepers make. Now, by providing a business advisory service, you're able to dramatically scale your business while escaping the accountant's trap, where to get paid more, you must either take on more clients, work more hours. So that's it, because you can't raise your fees because there's always someone else that's willing to do it cheaper, unfortunately. Plus, there's a lot of competition. We know that. And there are other companies and tech software that are trying to automate our jobs away. Also, by providing a business advisory service, you're able to dramatically scale your business while making such a huge impact on the thousands, literally thousands of struggling, overwhelmed, and stressed out business owners, and the thousands in your hometown. If you look at nationally, millions and millions and millions. But to become a business advisor, you need three things: the desire to help business owners. You must have a real burning desire to help. Two, a financial background. You must have a solid financial background. I'm not worried about anybody that's on this webinar. And number three, a complete system for guiding your clients. You must have a system so you'll know how to guide your clients towards having a growing and successful business. A system is the key word here. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about a way to provide an advisory service in the most efficient way possible. And there's one rule of thumb for doing that. And the rule of thumb is you must have a scalable system to provide an advisory service that also gets results. It has to work. A scalable system means you're not reinventing the wheel on each client. You cannot take on a new client and be their advisor and it feel like a part-time job. That's just not sustainable. Plus, you won't be able to take on a lot of these. Also, a scalable system means you don't have to feel like you've taken on a new part-time job with every new client. Three, a scalable system means that you could take on more clients without taking on more cost and giving up more of your time. I mean, literally, the definition of scalable means that you could take on more revenue without a substantial increase in cost. Now, a system that gets results means that it's valuable to the clients. They'll be glad to pay $2,000 on average for this service. A system that gets results means you can charge more for it. And a system that gets results means you'll retain each client for a very long time. Again, I still have my very first client. A system that gets results means you don't have to always be looking for new clients. You can get off that marketing roller coaster, which I know we as accountants and bookkeepers love so much. Now, at the beginning of this presentation, I mentioned that we developed a complete system for our outsourced business advisory firm that provided real results to business owners so they can have a growing and successful business. This system allowed us to help hundreds, literally, of business owners improve their profitability and cash flow by hundreds of thousands of dollars, in some cases, millions of dollars. This system allowed us to increase the survival rate of our clients. And this system allowed us to take on more clients in less time, with less overwhelm, and with less overhead, and with less overwhelm. And this system allowed us to earn more money per client than any accounting or bookkeeping service could ever do. So I'm going to show you our system. Here's our scalable system that gets results. Now, we call it the one clear path because it's one clear path. We call it that because it's one clear path that a business advisor could take to help a client get results. Now, the idea is that the system leads any size business, literally from the corner food truck to the largest business in the world, in any industry, in any location across the globe. I mean, I've had clients in my hometown, but I've also had clients in other countries, literally. So it leads any size business in any location, in any industry from point A at the bottom left to point B at the top right, where the owner understands their business. They understand the entire business from both a strategic and financial standpoint. And more importantly, they know what to do about it so they can have a growing and successful business every single month. Now, the first stage is where you show your client what drives or influences their revenue, profit, and cash flow. Think of the business as a machine. Your job is to break the machine down into different parts. We call them the drivers, things that drive the machine, to see what's working and what's not. Like all machines, a business has a purpose. What's the purpose of a business? It's to make money, of course, the consistent positive cash flow. If the machine is not doing what it's supposed to do, make money, then like all machines that are not functioning properly, you need to determine the root cause and then fix it. All so that your client's machine is running at peak performance and doing what it's supposed to do, which is to make money. Remember, we define a successful business as one that can generate cash flow on a consistent basis. This stage will help us understand what has prevented the business from doing that in the past. This stage will help us understand the root causes as to why your client's machine is not functioning properly or as good as it should. Also, you know what to advise your clients to fix. Now, in this first stage, you as the advisor will measure where the business has been for the past few years for the 15 drivers of revenue, profit, and cash flow. This will allow you to start to put together a plan to help guide the business owner on taking certain action steps to getting and staying on track towards having a consistent, positive cash flow. Now, we've identified 5 drivers of revenue, 5 drivers of profit, and 5 drivers of cash flow. Throughout your client engagements, you'll monitor these 15 drivers, and then if needed, you'll dive deeper to find out what is driving the drivers. That way, you'll uncover the root causes of poor revenue, poor profit, and poor cash flow. So what are the drivers? Well, here are the 5 drivers of revenue: leads, conversion rate, retention rate, purchase frequency rate, and average transaction value. For every business on earth, these 5 drivers drive revenue. Here are the drivers that drive profit. We start with revenue, but then also we add on cost of goods sold as a percentage of revenue, marketing expenses as a percentage of revenue, payroll expenses, and overhead expenses, and other income and expenses, non-operational income or expenses. And the drivers that drive cash flow start with revenue, then go to profit, and we add on now days sales outstanding and or days inventory outstanding, the sale or purchase of assets, days payable outstanding, additions or repayments to debt, and owner investments or distributions. All of these, all 15, add up to cash flow for every business on earth. Literally. If your client improves just one driver, assuming all the other drivers remain the same, they will, without a doubt, see an improvement in their business. By the way, if you want a detailed explanation of the drivers and how they add up to cash flow, we have a gift for you in the handouts section at the top. At least on my screen, it just says handouts. I'm assuming it's similar to what you're saying, but there's a section called handouts and there's a PDF. Feel free to download it. We give an explanation of every driver and the formula of how it actually adds up to cash flow. So feel free to download that. And by the way, we call it the 16 drivers of cash flow because we broke out days sales outstanding and days inventory outstanding in 2 different drivers. Okay, so make sure you download that. Now, if your client improves 2 or more drivers, they will see a dramatic improvement in their business. Now, think about this. If your client improves all 15 drivers, all of them, their business will, without a doubt, become a growing and successful business, meaning they'll produce more cash flow. What if you did that for your clients? Okay, the second stage is where you and your client set measurable targets or goals for this year and the next 5 years. You'll help your client set targets for each of the parts of their business, the drivers, and all of this should be based on the vision your client has for their business. Now, in order to help your client accomplish their vision of success, we need to find out what that is from your client. That's where the Your Big Vision section comes in. In this section, you're understanding what drives the business owner themselves. Why do they get into business? What do they want? What motivates them? Because not every business owner is motivated by money. Not every business is motivated by cash flow, even though we know that's the only thing required to stay in business and have a better business. Why did they get into business? The third stage is where you give your clients a simple way to know what's going on in their business. We call it a scoreboard, and it's color-coded, red, green, or yellow. We're not showing them the P&L, the balance sheet, or the cash flow statement, yet all three of those things are baked into this color-coded scoreboard. So we show them the scoreboard, and then more importantly, we show them what to do about those items that are in the red or yellow. Also, they'll have a growing and successful business. And then you repeat the third stage every single month, month after month, year after year. This is what business owners want. They want you to show them what's going on in their business without having to understand financial reports. They want you to show them exactly what to do to hit their targets. And they want you to show them how to have a successful business. Think about this. If the next steps are accomplished, the objectives that you give them will be met. If the objectives are met, then the scoreboard will turn green. And if the scoreboard turns all green, the client will, without a doubt, be on track towards hitting their targets and their vision, which means you'll have a very happy client who you'll likely be able to retain for a very long time. This system will allow you to grow your practice in less time with less stress because you're charging for your value, not your time. Because you have a system that's scalable, you can take on more clients. Because you have a system that works for any business, large or small. Now, here's your takeaways. It's a fact that most businesses fail, and then we'll get to questions. It's a fact that most businesses fail. In fact, according to the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, 20% will fail within the first year, 35% within the second year, 50% within the fifth year. Think about it. 1 out of every 2 businesses are gone by their 5th birthday. All of that time, energy, and money are just gone. All of those hopes and dreams the owner had are dashed, and all the owner is left with is a ton of debt, a ton of regret, and the realization they must go back and get a job. As you can see, business owners are begging for someone that they trust to tell them what to do to have a growing and successful business. And they want you to do this because they already trust you. And let's be honest, they expect this type of advice from you anyways. If you could be this person, you'll be able to charge more than you would for bookkeeping and accounting services. Plus, this is how you can differentiate yourself from your competitors. And of course, there are a lot of them. If you could be someone that a business owner could trust, to tell them what to do to have a growing and successful business, you'll also build into your practice 3 critical components to dramatic growth. 1, you'll have a much easier time attracting clients. The message of, I could be someone you could trust to tell you what to do to have a growing, successful business, very powerful. Therefore, you will not have to sell a business owner on this service. In fact, business owners are begging for someone to do this. They just don't know that you or anything like this exist. 2, you don't have much time retaining and keeping clients. If you're helping your clients have a growing and successful business, why would they leave you? They wouldn't. Regardless, in our experience, even clients who are not experiencing dramatic growth will still retain their advisor because they value having someone to talk to that gets it. They crave for someone they can trust to be their guide, their confidant, their sounding board. And you have a much easier time growing your practice because if you're offering a valuable service instead of charging for your time or commoditized bookkeeping or tax services, you're able to increase your fees. At the same time, because you're offering a productized advisory service using a scalable system, the one that I just went through, you will be able to service each client in as little as 4 hours per month. Thus, you'll be able to make more money by working a lot less hours. But in order to provide a business advisory service that gets results, you must have 3 things: the desire to help, a financial background, and a complete system. And if you have number 1 and number 2, we at the CFO Project can provide you number 3. So if you're interested, we have spent the last several years developing and continually, to this day, literally testing systems. We don't just teach this. We use it in our own business with our own clients every single day. Namely, we developed 3 systems. System to get leads without spending a dime on ads, cold calling, or relying on social media. 2, a system to convert those leads to paying clients without ever feeling like a salesperson or having to be an extrovert. I mean, I'm not an extrovert. I'm an introvert. 3, a system to guiding clients to have a successful business that take on average 4 hours per month per client. We have an exclusive membership program just for financial professionals. We only take financial professionals, where we'll teach you step by step all 3 of those systems. All so you can grow your practice and dramatically increase your income without having to take on more work or spending more time in the office. Plus, we include a 3 client guarantee. If you don't get 3 clients, then you get your money back, assuming you do the work the way we teach it. Now, we call it the CFO Project membership program. Meet Becky. She says, using the systems that the CFO Project equipped me with, I reduced my workload by 75%. And I increased my income by 50%. This program has changed my life. Now, this program is for 3 groups of financial professionals. Group A, maybe you're in Group A, where you're already providing some sort of business advisory service. You have a bookkeeping service, and you're giving clients advice, but you're not sure if the advice you're giving is the best advice, nor are you getting compensated appropriately for this advice. You're giving away inventory for free. It's like if you had a retail store and a client came in and asked for something, you just took something off the shelf and gave it to them for free. That's what you're doing by giving away advice for free now. Group B, you're providing accounting or bookkeeping services already, and you'd like to enhance it. You'd like to make it better than all the other bookkeepers out there by offering a high-quality business advisory service that gets results. Or Group C, you would like to transition out of bookkeeping altogether and just fully focus on being a highly sought-after and outsourced CFO or business advisor. Whether you're in Group A, B, or C, this program is for you. And our membership is made up of all 3 types. We have bookkeepers in our program that are in Group A and B and C. Meet Jamel. He says, I've been a part of many groups. I've never seen the success I've seen with the CFO Project. In less than 6 months, I've added more than $100,000 in contracts. So if you're interested, the next step is to speak to a facilitator on what we call a right fit call. We call it a right fit call because it implies this may not be a right fit for you. But on this call, it takes about 20 minutes. We'll learn more about the goals you have for your business and career, and then we'll see if our program can help you accomplish those goals. We'll give you a tour of the program, and if our program can help you accomplish your goals, then we'll tell you more about it and decide if it's right for you. So to schedule a right fit call, go to the cfoproject.com/right-fit. And we'll just get on a 20-minute call and just learn more about you and your business. And we'll give you a behind-the-scenes tour of our program and then tell you the fee and tell you more about the money-back guarantee and see if this is a right fit for you. So just go to the cfoproject.com/right-fit. Ryan says, since joining the CFO Project, it took me only 8 months to leave my day job. And in 2.5 months since leaving, I've already doubled what I was making. Okay, so I would love to answer your questions. I'm going to put here in the chat the link. It's clickable. But what questions do you have?
And
I think that went to everybody.
Thank you, Adam. I was putting the link in, and I thought it was in the chat, and I put it in the Q&A by mistake. So go ahead and add it to the chat.
Oh, okay, perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, there it is. Great. Well, thank you so much, Adam. I can certainly identify with a lot of the things that you talked about in terms of how small business owners feel, not just working with small business owners, but being a business owner, myself, owner of 2 businesses. And I have certainly been there in that catch-22 a few years ago of like, how do I grow this thing when I don't have enough cash flow? I can't hire people. And if I can't hire people, I can't get more clients. And thankfully, that turned around and got on a a profitable track for the business. But it is a reality for, I would say, most small business owners, and they're just stuck, and many of them, like you said, don't know where to go for help.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So let's go through some of the questions. So Laura is asking, can you give an example of advice that you have given regarding cash flow that will help some of us recognize whether that's something we as bookkeepers would have thought of or can look for? We all want to be sure we are equipped to be an advisor.
That's a great question, Laura. Here's an example from personal experience. I used to have a client for several years that was a colonoscopy doctor, screening doctor. He was a doctor that 5 doctors working for him. It's an $8 million business. And they specialized in colonoscopies, a world I know nothing about. And he was a really good doctor. He just wasn't the best business owner, admittedly. He even told me that in the very first meeting we met. Anyways, after several months of working together, I went to him during one of our monthly meetings, and I said, I noticed that one way that we can improve cash flow dramatically in your business is you're getting a lot of referrals from family practitioner doctors to perform colonoscopy. So a family practitioner doctor will say, hey, to one of their patients, you need to get a colonoscopy. I don't do colonoscopies, but I want to refer you to this colonoscopy screening practice, which is my client. So all these doctors were referring their patients. And the nurse at the front desk at the family practitioner would make an appointment with my client's office. So when somebody made an appointment with my client's office, they would reserve a room for 30 minutes. They would reserve an anesthesiologist on their team, which they're not cheap. They would reserve 2 nurses. They would reserve the room itself, which means you can't book that same room for another patient. A lot of expense was tied up in that room. 60% of the patients that were referred actually showed up. 40% didn't show up for their colonoscopy. I mean, nobody wants to get a colonoscopy, but still, 40% of people didn't show up, which is costing my client not only opportunity cost, but also all that cost they're wasting for the payroll and from the anesthesiologists and the nurses and all that. So I told my client, if we can get that number from 60, we're never going to get it to 100%. But if we can get it from 60 to 65%, then we'll add $400,000 to cash flow. Not just profit, but bottom line cash flow, because you're increasing revenue while at the same time reducing expenses. My client would never figure that out by just looking at the balance sheet or P&L. Plus, my client was not a financial person. He's a doctor. He's just literally like the person I was talking about earlier that is an expert at their craft.
That's fantastic. And sometimes we have, those insights that we don't even realize that that's valuable advice. And like you said, Adam, we're giving it away for free a lot of times, or we're not realizing that that something that maybe seems simple to us is not simple to our client. M. Reed is asking, would these services be available and applicable to Canada, which I believe you already said you can apply this worldwide.
Yeah. It's agnostic to currency, to type of business, to industry or whatnot. And the CFO Project, by the way, we have about 20 members that are in Canada. So if that's what you're referring to, yes, it will work.
Anne is asking, what do you consider to be a financial background?
Yeah, we get that question all the time. You just have to understand numbers. You have to understand accounting. And I've met hundreds of bookkeepers, and almost all of them understand accounting. They may not be able to teach a college level course, but they understand accounting. If you can operate QuickBooks or Xero or any of the others, and you understand most of it, then you're qualified. That's a financial background. What we're saying we don't consider a financial background is we don't like a lot of business coaches, for instance, will want to join, but most business coaches don't have a financial. They can't read a balance sheet or P&L, and I think it's personally dangerous for business coaches to help to guide their clients on making certain decisions when they don't understand the impact it has to cash flow. That's just a rant, my personal rant. So that's why I think people who do have a financial background and that already have the trust of their clients is the perfect person to be a business advisor.
Megan is asking if we were to take this program, is there a certificate or diploma?
Yes, there is actually. You become a certified CFO. Once you complete certain requirements, and literally there's 12 requirements, the last requirement is actually to get your first client. So we want you to get certified because we want you to see results. And if you get just one client, it more than pays for this program, like almost by double. So we want you to get your first client, and most people get their first client within about 90 days.
Fantastic.
And you become certified.
Humphrey is asking, what is the cost of the CFO project, and is it a monthly subscription program?
Yeah, it's a great question. The cost depends. We have many different options. We need to learn about you and see if this is the right fit first. That's why we want you to get on this right fit call. We will give you the call, the price in that 20-minute calls. Don't worry about that. And we'll also give you all the options. But I can tell you that you pay one price to get 12 months access to the program. You don't pay another dime for 12 months. Within the 12 months, you'll get the training and the support and the community. You'll belong to your own mastermind group. You'll get master classes, all kinds of stuff for 12 months, because we could teach you all day long to a skill like how to ride a bike by watching a video. But until you get on the bike, it's not going to make sense. So we want you to get on the bike and then have a group of people to turn to and your own trainer to turn to tell you what went wrong or right, or give you encouragement or accountability. And that needs to happen within a certain time frame. So we want you to have access to all of this for a year. And then after the year, then it just goes to a month-to-month membership.
Debbie is asking, if you're already giving your clients these kinds of insights for free, how do you transition to offering this as a paid service to those existing customers?
That's a good question, because it's hard to take away something that you're already offering for free. I would say two different ways. One, as you get new clients, stop giving those new clients advice. And B, as you get new clients, up-level the clients, because a lot of clients that are getting this advice for free and will balk at you charging for it are smaller clients usually. Clients where they're paying you less than $500 a month for your service. So larger clients, though, clients that are doing between $500,000 and $5 million annual revenue, if you go to them and say, look, I know I'm your bookkeeper, and I am now offering an advisory service where my job is to help you have a growing, successful business. And we're going to meet once a month, and I'm going to tell you what to do. I'm going to give you a plan so that you increase your cash flow and hit your goals. Are you interested in something like this? And in our program, we train you on how to do this exactly. But that's in a nutshell. If you go to a larger client like that, in our experience, they will say yes, because again, their business is not a hobby, and they know that something they get for free, if you're charging for it, it's going to be way more valuable.
Yeah, and I would agree, Adam, also that, like you said, if you're not going to tell the client, you're taking the responsibility and now giving them a system that, whatever you were doing before, you didn't have skin in the game, probably neither did they, until then you formalize it.
My colonoscopy client, $400,000. I wish that I got a percentage of that increase, because my fee to him, he could have hired me for like 40 years.
Yeah. Anne is asking, I have a client who's asking how to reduce her merchant service fees. I haven't been able to figure out how to do that. Merchant fees are complicated. Would the program be able to guide me on something like this?
Yeah, I'll tell you the way to get rid of your merchant fees altogether. Stop charging your clients on a credit card. Take ACH payments. That's what we advise everybody to do.
Yeah, and sometimes even when clients they're asking the wrong question, and that's something I have learned is that they're asking the wrong question, and so then you have to guide them to then what is that's a symptom of a greater problem in that regard. Or sometimes it is just I'll take credit card payments all day long because I have positive cash flow. So sometimes it's the attitude of, I don't want to pay the fees, but the fees mean you have positive cash flow. So it's more of a mindset. Okay, we're gonna go about 5 more minutes, and so there's 2 more questions. One from Talal. It says, it starts with bookkeeping. I don't know if it's a question. Let me see. It starts with bookkeeping, and the client then take it all for granted to get all reports, ratios, and dashboards, etc., from you when they want to see from Chat GPT. How can we escape this trap? I guess it's like people can just go to Chat GPT now and put their financials, and it's going to spit something out.
Yeah, that's not possible. At the end of the day, business owners are human, and they want a human to talk to. If Chat GPT or AR or any of that ever gets to the point where it's giving very good advice, it still needs to be interpreted by a human and communicated to a human.
Yeah.
It just till the end of time. And business owners are people that want to talk to people. It's like the idea that a AI or chatbot can replace you having a spouse or a mate.
Mm-hmm.
It's just not going to happen, because people are human creatures, and business owners want a human to be their guide, their confidant. It just is what it is.
They're relational.
At least for the next 10 years. Who knows if we have after that.
Marie or Mariah is asking, how did the colonoscopy doctor increase the percentage of patients showing up?
Yeah, he didn't get to my goal. If I remember correctly, he increased it by, I think 3 or 4 percentage points, which was still a win because he was in a positive direction. But as I told him, he ended up selling his practice, which is why he's not a client. Okay. But it was a lifelong endeavor. He's constantly trying to increase. As long as he's going in the positive direction in that one metric, he's always improving.
Yeah. 2 questions about just the fees for the plan, and then we'll wrap it up. You already answered, what are the fees for joining? So if they need to book the right fit call to find out, because you have different methods of joining. And then is there a payment plan for the program?
Yep, there's 3 different payment plans, and that's part of the reason why we want to talk to you. And we make it very, very affordable.
And then Lisa from the UK is just asking if the program is suitable for a UK company.
Oh yeah, absolutely. We have several members in Europe, in UK. Absolutely.
Yeah, so it's not specific to US accounting or any.
No,
it's not, because it's not accounting. You're advising.
That's right. We don't teach accounting or bookkeeping or anything. So the advice is advice, regardless of where it's located.
Because the revenue drivers, the profit drivers, and cash flow drivers are the same worldwide.
That's right.
Unless somebody knows how to make money a different way that we don't know.
Right. That's right. That's right.
Well, thank you, Adam, so much for joining us. It's always a pleasure. I always learn something new. And as I said, this is our 3rd time together, and I always learn something new. And I will definitely look at the handout that you shared and read up on it as well.
Thank you so much, Veronica, for letting me come.
Again. All right. Well, take care. And thank you, everyone, for joining us. And we will see you next month. Bye, everyone.
Bye, everybody.